Hi guys, welcome to the fourth and the last part of the Unity board series. Today I will teach you how to add your custom obstacles, just some spinners that will be rotating. We will also add some effects, sounds and post-processing that it will be a complete game. Last time we have added more levels and also dev screen to our game. Let's get started. So we can begin by creating the custom obstacle, which will be just some spinner that is rotating. For this, in the hierarchy, I will create new empty game object and just call it spinner. And under this object, I will add some cubes that will look like the spinner. This looks okay for some basic spinner. You could obviously import your own models. I will also apply the material to the spinner, and how I made it, it is just 3 cubes that are scaled and rotated like this. To make the spinner work, we don't need any code. We can just assign the tag of the spike that it will damage the player, and how we will do the movement, we will do it using animation. So up here you can click window, animation, and open animation window, put it somewhere down here, and you want to select the spinner object, and we can just create new animation clip. And in the animation window we want to click this red dot that it will start recording the movements, and we can go to the last frame, which is on the 1 second, and we can just rotate the spinner around the y-axis like this. Make sure that it goes from 0 to minus 360. Now we can try to play the animation, and you can see that the spinner is moving, but it is trying to smooth that movement, that it is not linear movement. This we can change in the curves menu. And here you see this yellow curve. You can just select the last point, right click, and set it to auto. Now you can see that the movement will be linear. Yeah, and this is looking better for the spinner animation. And the tag that we have been adding to the spinner, you want to make sure that you have added it to those collidable objects, so to those cubes. Not only to the parent, but also to those objects that when the player collides with, then the player gets damage. Here you can see that the spinner is rotating, and when the player hits it, you can see that it decreases the health and we died. So this is pretty easy. Next we can add some effects to our coins and also to the end of the level. So we can start by the end of the level. This will be pretty easy. In the hierarchy you can just right click, go under the effects and create particle system. You can see that it's emitting some particles, and you can just move the particle system, and in the inspector you can change those settings. So for example, if I want to make it green, I can change the start color to green. If I want to make them to fly faster or slower, I can just change the start speed. And if I want to make them so they don't go into very long distance, I can change the start lifetime. I can also change the size, particles and all of that stuff. And under the shape I can change the emission shape. So for this it would be nice to select something like the rectangle, and I can change size of the rectangle, so the X scale to 5 for example. Yeah, and you can see that this looks already good. And we can do the same thing for those coins. So for this we can open the coin prefab that it will change on all of those coins, and here we will just add the effects and particle system, and we can just change the size, color and the shape. And now we can see that the game looks a bit better. You could play with them a bit more and add those effects to more objects. Now we can add some basic post-processing. For this we will need to install new package, so open Window, Package Manager, go into Packages, Unity Registry, and then you need to find here Post-Processing, and you can just install it. Okay, so now when we have it installed, we can right click in the project, create, and here we have the post-processing profile. We will be adding this to our camera, so find the player, find the camera, and we need to add new component, which will be post-processing layer, and also add component post-processing volume. Under the post-processing volume component, we can just add the profile that we have just created in the project and add it to the profile. Under the post-process layer, we can set the layer to default. And down here we can add some effects. For example, we can add the ambient occlusion. When you are trying to change those settings, you want to make sure that you have ticked, for example, the mode, intensity, and so on, and you can just play with those values. If you want to be able to see that also in the camera in the scene, here you can set the post-process volume to is global. Yeah, and now we can see it also in the scene. So play with those values. I also recommend you to add depth of field and vignette. And you can see that the game looks a bit better now. Also, there's many more effects that you can add, so just experiment with it. And the last thing we will do is just importing some sounds. So we can take these sounds that you have. I have downloaded them from OpenGamesArt, so I will give you a link in the description. You can just easily import them into the project and you can just try to play them here. Yep, you can see that it works. And when you want to play some sounds in Unity, you need to add component audio source. So we can add this, for example, to our player. So add component audio source. And here we can just insert some clip in the audio clip, for example, the music that I have here. And also you need to have the audio listener, but you already should have it on your camera. Yep, you can already hear the music. You can obviously, under the audio source, you can adjust the volume or you can set it to loop. Now we can add some of those sound effects. For this, we will need to create one more audio source, because from one audio source you can only be playing one audio clip. So under the player, I will add new audio source, and for this we will need to do some basic coding. So we don't need to assign any audio clip yet. We can open the player's script, and we just need to know when we want to play the sound. So for example, when we collect the score, we want to play the sound. So we need to find the part of the code where we are collecting the coin. Yeah, this is here. And the only thing we need to do is just set audio clip of that audio source and then play. So we can just find node audio source clip set. We will also need to create variable for the audio source, which will be of type audio source. And here you want to assign the audio source where you are not playing the music, which is the second one here for me. So just set the audio clip, and to which audio clip when we collect the coin, we can, for example, play this completion sound. So I can just drag it into the script like this, select the completion, and connect it to the audio clip that I want to set it to, and then I just need to say audio source play, that it will play the audio clip. And like this we can do it for all of the other stuff. So when the player health decreases, we want to play other sound, which will be the hit sound for me. And after he died, we can play the You Died song. But here we need to make a small change, because this is running in update, so then the You Died effect will be playing over and over again. So we need to add the note once, which we have already been using, and when it is game over, we can just trigger the note, and when game over is not, we can reset the note. Like this, we should play the You Died clip only once. Yeah, and you can hear that when I collect the coin, the sound plays, and also when I hit the obstacle, you can also hear the sound effect, so this works. So today we have added some finishing touches. Definitely it is not finished game. You would want to add your own textures, models, play with those effects and much more. I hope that this series was helpful to you. If you have any questions, drop them down in the comments. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and I will see you in the next videos. Bye!